Waking up to the morning light brings a unique sensation. It feels as if the day is filled with promises and opportunities. But before diving into the daily tasks, there is a practice that can make all the difference. Prayer. Morning prayer is not just a ritual. It is a sacred moment of connection with the divine, a call for strength and protection that accompanies us throughout the day. In the Bible, we find a variety of passages that highlight the importance of seeking God's guidance and protection. Psalms 91, for example, speaks about being under the shadow of the Most High, emphasizing that those who seek refuge in Him will find protection and security. This idea resonates deeply. By starting the day with a prayer, we place ourselves under this divine protection, recognizing that we are not alone in the battles we face. Imagine a warrior preparing for battle. Before donning the armor and picking up the sword, he takes a pause. This pause is prayer. It is a moment of inner strength, a recognition that strength does not come solely from skill or effort, but from something greater. The morning prayer is this spiritual armor. By invoking strength and protection, we open our hearts to receive what God has for us, allowing His light to guide and strengthen us. Stories of faith throughout the Bible illustrate this practice well. Daniel, when faced with challenges in the Babylonian kingdom, did not hesitate to seek God. He prayed 3 times a day, asking for strength and protection. When he was thrown into the lion's den, his divine connection saved him. Prayer is not a mere act of words. It is a sincere dialogue that connects us to God, reminding us that He is our fortress in times of adversity. Another example is King David. He often cried out to God in his prayers, seeking not only strength, but also protection from his enemies. In Psalms 28-7, David expresses his confidence in the Lord as his strength and shield. This confidence did not arise from nowhere. It was built through a continuous relationship with God, which began with sincere prayers, even in the darkest hours. David's morning prayer prepared him to face the day, reminding him that, regardless of the circumstances, he was not alone. Mornings can be chaotic, filled with commitments and responsibilities. It is easy to get lost in the rush, but it is precisely at this moment that prayer becomes even more vital. By dedicating time to invoke strength and protection, we make an intentional pause. This pause allows us to align our intentions with God's will. Asking for strength is not just about facing challenges, but also about seeking wisdom and discernment in the decisions we make. When we look at the life of Jesus, we see that He often withdrew to pray. Before choosing His disciples or facing crucifixion, He sought connection with the Father. This practice shows that even in decisive moments, prayer is fundamental. By starting the day with a prayer, we are imitating this example, seeking the strength and protection that only God can offer. And what about gratitude? When praying in the morning, we should not only ask, it is also essential to give thanks. Recognizing the blessings received helps us see the day with new eyes. Gratitude transforms our perspective and connects us even more with the divine. When we give thanks, we affirm our trust in God, reminding ourselves that He is present in every detail of our lives. Morning prayer, therefore, becomes a sacred space to invite God's presence. It is an opportunity to clothe ourselves in strength, to invoke protection, and to align ourselves with His promises. The day may bring unexpected challenges, but by starting with this intention, we are better prepared to face them. Think of mornings as a battlefield, where prayer is our strategy. By placing ourselves in communion with God, we not only ask for strength and protection, but we also open ourselves to receive His guidance throughout the day. This connection strengthens our spirit and prepares us for any challenge we may face. Each morning, as we rise, we have the chance to establish a new commitment. A prayer can be a simple "Lord, strengthen me and protect me today." This sincerity is what truly matters. The important thing is that this prayer comes from the heart. Strength comes from this genuine connection, and protection becomes a reflection of our faith. Recognizing the importance of morning prayer is a significant step towards a fuller and more protected life. It is a daily invitation to align with what is divine, to seek strength and protection, and to walk with confidence, knowing that we are surrounded by this loving presence. With each new day, the opportunity to connect with the divine is renewed. How will you take advantage of this chance? Morning prayer is a sacred moment, a pause in the whirlwind of daily life. When the sun rises, bringing new possibilities, it is essential to connect with this greater force. Recognizing that we are under divine protection is not just a beautiful phrase, it is an act of faith. By starting the day, we place ourselves under this covering, allowing God's light to illuminate our paths. Imagine waking up, still with a somewhat foggy mind, but already feeling the need to anchor yourself. At that moment, a prayer can be the anchor. Asking for strength is more than a desire. It is a necessity. By verbalizing this search, we open space for divine energy to flow into our being. The strength we ask for is not just physical, but also emotional and spiritual. We face challenges every day, and it is in this connection that we find the courage to overcome them. It is interesting to note that when we ask for protection, we do not merely request the absence of problems, but rather the ability to face whatever comes. Divine protection is not a shield that isolates us from the world, but a presence that envelops us, strengthening us to deal with adversities. By starting the morning with this prayer, we prepare ourselves for the surprises that life may bring. It is a reminder that we are not alone, that there is a greater force by our side. As the routine sets in, it is easy to get lost in distractions and external pressures. Therefore, a request for wisdom should be part of our prayer. By calling for discernment, we open ourselves to more conscious decisions. It is an invitation for God to guide our steps, steering us away from impulses that may lead us down undesirable paths. Modern life, with its countless choices and distractions, demands that we remain steadfast in our purposes. Morning prayer serves as a filter, aligning our intentions with divine will. Imagine a day when you have an important meeting. You might feel anxious, but by starting with a prayer, you connect with an inner calm. Asking for protection does not mean that challenges will disappear, but that you will be prepared to face them. This strength you invoke provides support, allowing you to stand firm in the face of adversities. In the end, when you look back, you will see that difficulties were opportunities for growth. Gratitude is a fundamental part of this morning practice. By expressing thanks, not only for the blessings already received, but also for those yet to come, we create a space of openness and abundance. To give thanks is to recognize that divine protection is already at work, that even in the small things, there is a subtle touch of love and care. This attitude changes the perspective, transforming what could be an ordinary day into a journey full of meaning. Trusting in God is not a passive act. It requires daily commitment. Upon waking, as you recite your prayer, you place yourself in a state of surrender. It is as if you are saying, I am here, willing to follow the path that is shown to me. This surrender creates a fertile environment for divine strength and protection to manifest. The situations of daily life, no matter how challenging they may be, become opportunities to see God's hand at work. As the day progresses, you can remember this connection. When things get complicated, it may be helpful to take a pause, breathe deeply, and repeat the prayer in your heart. This practice is not just a ritual. It is a reminder that strength and protection are always available. A simple phrase, repeated in difficult moments, can be the foundation you need to overcome obstacles. And do not forget, prayer does not need to be long or elaborate. Sometimes, a simple phrase like, Lord, I am here, guide me and protect me, can be all you need. The sincerity of your intention is what matters. Sometimes, the most powerful connection occurs in the simplest words, where vulnerability meets divine strength. At the end of the day, as you reflect on everything, what happened, it is important to recognize that the morning prayer is not an isolated act, but a continuous link. The strength you asked for and the protection you invoked are not limited to a few moments. They permeate your being, influencing your interactions and decisions. You may notice that, even amidst difficulties, the serenity you sought in the morning is present. The connection with the divine becomes an invisible thread that weaves through your life. This thread guides you, protects you, and gives you strength. A morning that begins with a prayer is a morning that creates an echo of protection and wisdom throughout the day. When you rise, surrounded by this presence, you are preparing to face whatever comes, confident that you are not alone. The morning practice transforms into a sacred ritual, a moment of renewed strength and constant protection. Recognizing this dynamic is an invitation to continue this practice. How about starting tomorrow with a new perspective, a new prayer? Rise, then, on this new day, with the firmness that the morning prayer brings. Upon opening your eyes, remember that each dawn is a new opportunity to connect with the divine. The first thing to do is to take a deep breath, feel life pulsating, and then invoke the strength of God. It is not just a formality. It is an acknowledgement that you begin the day under divine protection. Visualize the light coming from God enveloping you, creating a barrier against the adversities that may arise. This moment is crucial. Allow yourself to feel this protection. It is like a cloak that surrounds you, giving you security and confidence. Life is full of challenges, but by placing yourself under this protection, you transform each difficulty into a chance for growth. Before diving into the day's obligations, pause. Ask yourself, what wisdom do I need today? Prayer is not just a request, it is a dialogue. Call for discernment in the small decisions, in interactions with others, and in the choices that shape your path. Imagine yourself in a meeting where opinions may diverge. The morning prayer helps you maintain focus, not to be swayed by negative influences or the rush to decide. Instead, you act calmly, guided by the light you invoked. Remember, distractions are everywhere. It is easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle of daily life. A simple lapse in attention can lead to decisions that do not reflect who we truly are. A powerful morning prayer gives you direction. When we ask God to protect our steps, we commit to acting according to His will. This connection makes us more alert and prepared for challenges, as we know that divine strength accompanies us. And do not forget to give thanks. Acknowledge the blessings, even those that seem small. A hot coffee, a sincere smile, a moment of peace amidst chaos. Gratitude opens doors and not only illuminates what we already have, but also aligns us with what is to come. By expressing gratitude, you reinforce your trust in God, feeling stronger and protected. It is a cycle that feeds itself. The more you give thanks, the more you feel surrounded by divine protection. Consider a practical example. Upon arriving at work, instead of being carried away by anxiety or stress, pause for a moment. Breathe and remember the prayer you made in the morning. This can transform your day. When the pressure mounts, you will remember that you are surrounded by a greater force. This mindset changes the way you handle challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel empowered. The strength and protection you invoke are not just for you. They spread around you. Your positive energy can impact those around you. Imagine the effect that a confident and protected person can have in a professional environment. You become a source of light, helping to create a more harmonious and productive space. When you live this divine connection, you not only strengthen yourself, but also inspire others to seek that same strength. And this practice should not be limited to the mornings. Throughout the day, remember the prayer. If an obstacle arises, pause and reaffirm your connection. It can be a simple "Lord, give me strength now," as you face a challenge. This constant reminder that you are not alone brings a deep tranquility. At the end of the day, as you prepare to sleep, take a moment to reflect. What went well? What could be different? Thank again. This reflection is part of the growth process. Divine protection is not just a shield. It is also a guide that illuminates the path. The strength gained throughout the day is renewed with the evening prayer, preparing you for a new dawn. Remember, the morning prayer is a constant invitation, a call to live in strength and divine protection. Each day brings new opportunities to feel surrounded by the presence of God, ready to face whatever comes. Do not let this practice become an empty routine. Breathe deeply, feel the strength and protection that envelop you, and live with the certainty that, by invoking this strength, you become a channel of light and protection. Open your heart and let this connection guide you. Tomorrow, upon waking, say the prayer. Rise in strength and be surrounded by divine protection.